G'day Syntropic growers, this is Farmer Jones. After a bit of an absence from YouTube for a while, life had called me away, so I apologise for a lack of video postings, but I felt we had to do one now because we're now in year 4 and we've just had some very, very substantial rains here in central Queensland, near Gympie. And the place has just gone totally wild. It's totally crazy and life has exploded. So I'm just going to take you for a little walk through our system. We haven't done any trimming since early winter or pre-winter. The system seems to have plateaued through a very dry winter last year in 2023, but coming up now December, January, February, we're now heading into March. We've had some very, very substantial rains. Our dams are full, the grass is this high, and this system here has gone absolutely crazy. So what has done well in this alleyways, and this has been a question that I've been wrestling with for a while, what can grow well in dapple shade or even heavy shade? Well, people mention coffee and cacao and those sorts of things, but in our context here in Queensland and our local farmers markets, we don't have a market for that, okay? But we are starting to get a lot of Asian and Islander customers, so we keep hearing that they love plantains and cassava. So this 50-metre row here, we cut up a lot of sticks and we buried them on an angle, leaving some of the stick out. And the cassava has absolutely taken off, as you can see. Very easy to grow, very easy to plant. So we are new to cassava. It's not a food that Australians eat very much, but we feel that there is a growing market, and right now it's bringing about $12 a kilo in the Asian, Fijian and Indian supermarkets. So we think that there may be a market for that. Now, as you can see, this row is almost in total shade and it's going fantastic. So some of these I've already cut and this is regrowth. So as you can see, it's adapted and it's thriving very well to our soil here, and it actually seems to love the shady alleyways. So I think that moving forward, a crop for us will be cassava down the alleyways. Let's go and have a look at what's happening down the rest of the section. Now, this has gone crazy. As you can see, the alleyways have gone wild, and there's a lot of life, a lot of bananas happening, and a lot of fruit happening. So let's go in. Let's go in and have a look, eh? So notice this tall grass here. This is actually grass that I planted. It's silk sorghum. And as you can see, as we get further into our wild jungle here, some of this silk sorghum is going 6, 7, 8, 9 foot. And no matter how many times you cut it, it just seems to regrow. We've had some of it, we've been recutting now for 2 years. So if you want an easy, good, substantial and returnable biomass for your trees, out of all the cover crops that I've tried, I've now since settled on either sugarcane or silk sorghum. So the silk sorghum is easy to cut just with a knife like that. It's a little bit tough for a small ride-on mower, but you probably get it with a more powerful mower or a PTO tractor with a slasher or a sidecast mower. Let's have a look in. As you can see, I haven't tended any of this Probably for about 6 or 7 months now. I've not touched it, not walked down here. I've not irrigated it, and of course I've not fertilised it. So here we've got some great bunches of bananas growing up and down the alleyways. The bananas have really taken off, and all I'm doing today with my trusty picking tool, and you really need to get yourself one of these, is just lopping the bells off at this stage and some of the older leaves just to help feed the soil. As you can see, there's a little bunch growing, and if you want to fatten those bananas up a bit more, don't waste energy in the bell. So we just use our trusty tool here. We cut a couple of handfuls down, and when we cut that stem later, we've got something to grab onto when we hack the banana stem off. I'll show you that further down. The one thing to note is many things are volunteering themselves. So we've got a lot of sweet potato growing here. Now we have dug kilos and kilos out of these tree rows before. Now that's just a volunteer for some scraps that we left. Also our dragon fruits are going crazy. They've just taken off in this rain. We've really got to come down here and tie these up so that they can try and harvest some of the sun that's shafting down into the system. As you can see, these guys are growing really well. And why have we planted them against the eucalypts is because the eucalypts will be a permanent pole. It'll be a living pole. We might lop it off about head high, tie the dragon fruit to them and let them cascade around. Here's another very interesting phenomena. We've got passion fruits growing up into the eucalypts and the permanent trees, and there's literally passion fruits all over hanging up there, quite high up. But the great thing is we don't have to climb up and pick them, they drop themselves when they're ready. So if you look down here, we've got all these passion fruits that we can harvest. And these are worth good money down at our local market. This is a yellow variety, I'm not sure of the name. But the great thing is these are delicious in your smoothies. And if I walk along the rows, there's literally just too many to pick up off the ground, so we're going to have to bring some buckets down here later. But this is volunteered by birds, just pooping the seeds out. We don't know where this variety came from because we never bought this seed, but we're very grateful to the birds for planting them for us. More bananas. These bananas are clumped, they're going crazy. We've got more passion fruits up there, if you can see. I'm not sure if you see that in the shade there, but they're just hanging everywhere like curtains of them. As you can see, there's so many on the ground. So I'd just like to show you this trusty tool. This is a picker pole for harvesting your citrus or fruit or whatever. It's probably one of the most easy and best tools that I've bought. As time goes by, I keep finding these great ideas. And when you're doing your bells or you're cleaning up your bananas, you just want to take those dead ones off. And it's so easy, isn't it? I don't need ladders. I don't need sharp tools or knives. This guy does it for me. So that when the leaf turns brown, there's absolutely no purpose for it on the tree. otherwise they just go dry and yucky. And I just take them off and just help feed everything. It's free banana food, it helps the soil, and they just help rot down and clean up the trees and just make them a little bit more efficient. So why waste, again, the energy of the bananas with half-dead leaves? They're not going anywhere. So I think after you just saw that, this tool is an absolute winner. And you can reach quite high with these. So down here, there's our passion fruit going crazy again. See some more up there, and that eucalypt. That's Sydney glue gum up there. So right here, we've got a bunch of Saba that have nicely fattened up. I probably should have picked them a little bit sooner. They're still okay, just the skin's become a little bit discoloured, but that's fine. Now, my latest idea is to just cut the stem with an X, or a banana grower just showed me this recently. You just do an X, and you grab that handle there, like that, and you just your bunch. So that's a bunch of Saba, and they're a plantain, and they're proving to be popular with our Filipino and Islander customers. They love these, and we do too. So what do we do with this guy? So basically, we've got this stem here, and we've cut it roughly chest high. Now the idea is to leave the stem. It won't grow back. And secondly, there's quite a lot of water in that stem, and we reckon as the stem shrivels, it just gravity feeds the water back into the other stems. And you notice there's a couple of other stems we've already harvested here. So instead of throwing all the stem around, you leave half there and just help water your system. And this is very good in the dry times when you don't have a lot of water. But remember, we don't irrigate this food forest at all. So here's our bananas, and all you got to do is take them off like that. And there's your free food for your fruit trees. Just arrange them around. You can split them in half if you wish. If you want to be a bit more careful, particularly if you're worried about stem borer. There's a black beetle that can live in these bananas and destroy them. So if you do open the stem like that and place them down, they'll shrivel up a lot faster, and you'll avoid that problem with the stem borer, and these will return to the soil a lot faster than if you left the stem intact. So you want to try and keep these stems nice and moist so they rot down. I've got a little jackfruit in there, if you can notice. They're doing very well. They need a bit of shade to, help start the babies. So if you've got a little fruit tree you're trying to nurture, throw the stems there around it, and they will rot down and provide some really good humus. Now come in close and have a look at this. Now look at that. That is almost black and slimy. That is the previous stems that we cut down. It's beautiful. This is perfect plant food. So that was all stems that perhaps we cut down last year, and it's just rotted away. So this little fruit tree here, the jack, will grow to be an enormous fruit tree one day, but right now at this stage we found they don't like the direct sun. They struggle, but they love it in the shade, in a rainforest type situation like this. So then, after you've got your bananas, we just provide cover like that. Don't squash a tree. And this provides an awful amount of this beautiful biomass for our baby jackfruit. So, pretty easy, eh? And that's the beautiful reason why we keep these bananas mostly, not just for the fruit, but these are literally free tree food bananas. And all of our fruit species that we've planted here in this forest are literally fed on banana stems, and perhaps sometimes when we cut the cover crop and cover it with the hay there. So the question now remains is, this is now at a stage where it's an absolute jungle. I mean, look at the canopy. We're nearly forming a forest canopy over this system here. Now, if left alone, this will turn into some kind of rainforest, and I'm not exactly sure that was our original intention. So what do we do regarding bringing down all of this biomass? Well, our current theory is that at the beginning of winter, when the sun starts getting lower and lower in the sky, then we come through and we do a massive once-a-year trim. So that means at this stage, some of those eucalypts can come down at maybe the 6 metre mark, leave a bit of an afro. We can take out all the excess banana stems, and we can clear all of this cover crop here, this silk sorghum, and push it to one side or rake it to one side. So we become very lazy because, you know, we let the forest do its own thing. But at this stage, it's working beautifully. It's operating just like how nature intended. So I'm tending not to interfere too much. I just let it go. But once a year, the entire purpose of growing these support species like the ukes, as you know, is to bring it down as biomass. So once it sits through there and settles down during the winter, it's starting to decay. And then once the heavy rains hit in November, December, January, February, it turns it into beautiful food to feed the trees during that heavy water rain time. But the important thing is, during that winter, when the sun is low, it's let more sun into the surface of the forest floor here, and it's giving some of the smaller plants like the dragon fruits and the baby jackfruits a chance to harvest some of that sunlight. Because right now, these guys are in total shade. So this is just our current thinking. We're open-minded to be corrected, or, you know, if we find a better theory, please leave it in the comments below. But it seems to make sense to us that in winter time you're wanting to bring more light into the forest floor. But this place has become astounding. I haven't walked down in here for at least 7 months, and I'm absolutely delighted. This was a hard-packed clay, clapped-out sheep paddock when I bought this place 12 years ago. Now, this section was planted on our worst soil on the farm. Now look at it. It's absolutely lush. The fertility is unbounded. So I'm absolutely thrilled with it. It's just going to take a little bit of chop and drop just to give that growth boost, that gibberellic acid release around early winter. Now, I've been looking around and I've been noticing a lot of beautiful mushroom species growing on the floor and on the trees. And that to me is an indication that the Mycelium network is taking over, and these trees are talking to each other. They are trading and exchanging nutrients. So there are many types of mushrooms that I've seen and fungi that I've seen growing in here, and they're doing quite well in the dark shade. But I just thought I'd show you one. There's a very pretty one over here, and I've never seen this one before. So if you just zoom up and closely look at these pretty little purple mushrooms. And that to me is an indication that the system is working. So other questions may be, how's the citrus and the fruit trees growing in this deep shade? Let's have a look. You come down here, here's our pomelo tree. This variety is called Thai Gold, and it makes a little yellow pomelo about that size. And we love pomelos because we do a lot of trips to Southeast Asia. It's very popular there. Now this tree is in complete shade. It is coming into the beginning of year 4. This entire system actually. Now if you come down here, this is in its 4th year. Now I count 1, 2, 3, and 4 pomelos on this tree, and it's in the 4th year. So again, I don't irrigate, I've never fertilised other than putting those old banana stems here, and it seems to be doing very well. And we've got another 12 other pomelo trees in this row, and they're mostly all of them are fruiting. So so far we're very happy with the progress. And once we bring down the support species and chop and drop, in perhaps April, then more sun will come down and it's just sweetening up these pomelos. So a lot of our citrus comes on for us during the winter months. It's just the way our season works up here and the natural cycles of our citrus trees. So far, we're extremely happy the way things are going. And remember, if you look up and down this row, we are only coming into, not completed, we're coming into year 4, maybe a little bit over 4 years. So have a look at that. This is absolutely astounding. We have some of our eucalypt trees up here now reaching 10, 12 meters high, and we're in year 4. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap up. I just wanted to give you an update and a progress report on our system. The energy and the fertility and the life force that this system is exuding and bringing forth to abundance is absolutely astounding. I've never seen anything like it. Now, of course, we've morphed away from vegetable growing in this area, but as I demonstrated in the first row, we think that cassava would do very, very well in this type of environment. So over and out for Farmer Jones. Please like and subscribe and leave any comments or suggestions. We're open to new ideas in the comments below, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.